We're out on the range today, so please bear with gunfire you hear in the background. Recently I had some viewers ask me to do a presentation on .22 long rifle tracers. Well, unfortunately it's going to be anticlimactic because they asked me to shoot the meat target with them. And I'm not going to do that because they don't do anything. They just poke holes in it. They're just standard velocity .22 long rifle ammunition. If you wanted to do damage to the meat target, such as for hunting or anti-personnel purposes, you'd be a lot better off just with a high-velocity .22 long rifle hollow point. So what do you do with .22 long rifle tracers? Well, first of all, let's back up and say, what is a tracer? And it's a bullet that has inside it phosphorus that burns like a road flare and glows very brightly, and you can see it in flight, especially at night. Okay. Then that's immediately followed by the question, what for? What are you supposed to do with tracers? Well, I'll give you the basic training answer. There's 4 types of ammunition: ball, tracer, blanks, and dummies. Ball for anti-personnel purposes, tracers for marking targets, blanks to add realism to field training exercises, and dummies for classroom training. That's right out of Marine Corps basic training, at least when I was there. So tracers, marking targets, what do you mean? Well, there's a few aspects of that. One of them is you tell the M203 gunner, shoot where you see my tracers hit, and then you fire to show him exactly where you want him to shoot. Also, marking targets means that you load your magazine with every other round or every third round as a tracer, and under conditions where you can't really use your sights, you shoot the tracers, you can see where they're going, and then walk your rounds into the target. And with a little bit of practice, that can be very effective. Okay, so how does that apply to .22 long rifle tracers? Well, under, let's say, hunting conditions, and I don't mean just poaching, there are some animals you legitimately hunt at night, you can use the tracers, loaded every other round with whatever other .22 long rifle ammo you have, and you can walk them into the target. Now that sounds good, but there's a problem with that. Let me show you something. So what I did was, on these 4 targets, I fired 4 different types of .22 long rifle ammunition out of my 10-22 at a distance of 50 yards. Here we see the CCI Mini-Mag 40-grain bullet. This is your Federal 36-grain copper-plated hollow point. Your Federal American Eagle 40-grain bullet. And over here are our tracers. And what we see immediately is that the tracers don't hit in the same place as the other rounds did. They hold a good group. I've got one low down here, but still a very good group, but not in the same place that your other .22 long rifle ammunitions do. And when you're trying to load every other round a tracer so that you can walk rounds into the target, they have to hit in the same place. Now this might not seem like very far off, but with a .22 long rifle, when you're trying to shoot presumably fairly small game like rabbits, they've got to hit closer than this. And this is 50 yards. At 100, the discrepancy would be that much more. Also, because these tracers are not really high-velocity .22 rounds, they sometimes don't function reliably in some rifles. In those 5 rounds, I had 1 malfunction in this 10-22, just because they're not loaded really hot. On that hill over there, at give or take 200 yards away, is a steel clanger. And when you're shooting at very long distances, especially when it's an unknown distance and you don't know how much drop you're going to get, 22 long rifle tracers can help you hit your target. So let me try to shoot that from here, and we'll see how close I can get. Now that's 6 shots, and I managed to hit that clanger, I think, twice. And the tracers allowing me to see how much bullet drop I had helped a great deal. So we can see that 22 tracers look really cool, and they can be useful if you're trying to shoot something at extreme range with your 22 rifle. But they have their downsides as well, such as they're very expensive, they're kind of hard to find, and they don't hit in the same place as most conventional 22 ammo. So if you're trying to load your magazine every other round a tracer and walk rounds into a target, that's going to be of questionable effectiveness. There's also the downside of they don't function properly in handguns. I mean, they'll shoot out of handguns just fine, but something about the short barrel only ignites your phosphorus about half the time. So your tracers only trace about half the time when you're shooting them out of a handgun. Something to be aware of. So I hope you got at least some useful information about 22 long rifle tracers out of this. And as always, don't try this at home. I'm what you call a professional. And thanks for watching the 22 tracer video.